Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Michelle Millar. I am from the University of San Francisco Hospitality Department, and I'm also the secretary for West Federation CHRIE. I want to welcome all of you to this session. We're in for a treat, I think. I know. Jodi and Josh are going to be presenting from Knowledge Matters about the products that they have that can help us in the classroom, wherever our classrooms are these days. I want to give a very heartfelt welcome and thank you to Jodi and Josh and Knowledge Matters for their sponsorship and our partnership with them over the years. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing with us. I'm going to so we can take full advantage of the time we have, I'm going to turn it over to Jodi and Josh and let them take it from here. Their slides are on the screen. And if you have any questions, how do you want to handle those, Jodi and Josh? Do you want to put them in the chat or ask as we go? Do you have a preference?
They can put them in the chat and then we can discuss things at the end if they want to.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, the show is yours. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Well, I first wanted to say hello and welcome to everybody that's joining us. We appreciate you taking a look at Knowledge Matters. As Michelle mentioned, my name's Jodi Mullen, and I actually handle the West Coast. I know that's kind of a vague title there, but take Texas on up and kind of split it, and that's mine. I'm joined by Josh Derry, who is responsible for the East, and don't worry about who's who. We'll get you to whoever you go to if you have any questions. So we'll just get started here. So Knowledge Matter provides a digital teaching tool where your students are in control of their own virtual hotel and restaurant. A great digital experimental teaching tool. A little bit of history about us is we were started out in 1997. And we're currently used in over 50% of high schools to date. We moved into the college side in around 2012 with our restaurant simulation, followed by marketing, hospitality, and sports management. We do have partnerships with DECA, CHRIE, and Marriott. And last year we delivered over 3.7 million simulations with up to 99% of uptime. This will give you a little example, some screenshots of some of our simulations, which we're going to go into a little bit more at the end and give you more of a live view. But our hotel and restaurant management simulations put your students in control of managing their own virtual business. They learn the connection between room pricing, demand, overbooking, front desk operations, staffing, housekeeping, and a heck of a lot more. Currently, our professors are using our simulations for in-class learning as well as online learning. And obviously with the COVID issues last year, we saw definitely an uptake in the online pieces to our courses. So in unison with the textbooks, our professors utilize the simulations as a bridge to help students visualize and run their own businesses. So using the lodging and restaurant and the food and beverage management classes, along with their textbooks or without. Each module will consist of a concept overview based on that particular topic, followed by a quiz. Students are then given a case overview or a briefing which details the situation, the student's role, the overview of the learning, challenge phase expectations, and there will also be some discussion questions for each topic. Our case simulations are designed to help you reduce your workload. They integrate very well with Canvas, Moodle, Blackboard. They come with the teaching slides and teaching notes, and then you also have automatic grading. One of the things that we notice with these is, and a lot of feedback from students and professors as well, is it improves the engagement and the retention when they're actually going through a simulation and working the business themselves. They're able to make management decisions as they go. So in the learning phases, they're taught a lot of different topics, and then in the challenge phase, they're made to use those topics to base their business decisions. So here's a little sample or screenshot of our revenue management one where they're given the concept overview. To the right of that picture over here is the quiz, which they'll get about 20 questions for the quizzes. And then they're going to have the learning phase and challenge phase, which will involve the simulations. Most of the learning phases are anywhere from 12 to 20 steps, which will actually walk them through the whole process, kind of hold their hand and teach them different concepts. Where in the challenge phase, they're more so using those concepts that they learned within those to make their decisions and to run their business. This is a listing of the hotel simulation. So again, to the right is some pictures that kind of help demonstrate what our simulations look like. But these are the different modules that are part of our hotel simulation. One of the things that we've noticed as well is it kind of crosses very well with the restaurant simulation. So again, here's our restaurant setup and some of our modules that are in there. If you see at the bottom, there's some things called projects. These are a little bit longer simulations. So these top ones take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half to complete, depending on how many times they are able to restart those. And then the projects are a little bit more in depth, taking the concepts that they've learned previously and using those in those projects. So here's just a couple comments that we've gotten from some professors as well as some students. I think Josh can probably speak to this as well as I can. We get quite a few emails back from professors saying, I heard wonderful things about you from other professors that are using the product. So they've obviously reached out to us to start, getting demos as well and start utilizing us for their courses. Just a short list here of some of the customers that we currently have using our hotel and restaurant simulations. Maybe some of you out there are on there. So when we talk about savings, a lot of the simulations, what we say is that they're usually cheaper than your textbooks. So instead of hitting the books, we're skipping the books. We do have professors, as I mentioned earlier, that are using this as well alongside textbooks, but this is a good way to help with some of the savings if you decide not to use this along with a textbook. So then that brings up the idea of pricing here. So in this simulation for the hospitality, you have full access to 11 1 to 2 hour simulations plus 3 projects. The price is per student, and you have 2 options with that. We'll get into this a little bit more when I show a brief demo at the end, but we've got a concept overview with reading material, quizzes, and simulations that would be $69.95 per student. The second option, which is the simulations only, which is the learning and challenge phases that we discussed, is $39.95 per student. And then one of the things that I wanted to mention, we didn't actually have anything about this in our presentation, as it just literally, Josh and I just got a text earlier today that they're really working on this stuff with our engineering, but we do have the engineers currently working on a process of next generation simulations where we're developing live video conferencing so that the students can work on the simulations in real time, process together and actually complete those together. So they would be working together to successfully manage a hotel. And this is something that we're really looking at to see if there's an interest out there in the hospitality and restaurant area. So if that is something that you feel would be interested, please let us know. Please comment to us. We'd like to take that back to engineering. If that is of a big, thing that would be interesting for you guys. And obviously, if you want to schedule a demo, feel free to reach out to me. This is my contact information. Josh can provide his as well, or feel free to just contact me and I can get you to Josh if you're in his region. But Josh, did you want to jump in and say anything before I jump on to the quick demo, or did you want to hold on to the end?
You can go through the demo and I'll go and I'll jump
okay.
in again. Yep.
Perfect. Let me get back up here. So just to give you a quick thing, just one little quick thing, and then obviously if you want to schedule a demo, we'll go into more details on this. This is what the simulation is going to look at for you as the instructor, where you're able to set up the times and the due dates for each different module. And as you saw the listing that I showed on the slide, these would be all those modules within that collection. You've got some course settings here that we'll go in through in a real demo to show you how you can rearrange some of these courses, change times, change grade weightings, etc. Your gradebook, which would show all of your information, and this stuff all carries over into your LMS should you decide to do those integrations. And then obviously being able to preview the course, and that's just logging me back in there. Must have logged me out while I was waiting. All right, I'm going to do a quick one here that I kind of like because it really shows everything right at the beginning. Well, what I mentioned earlier about the different pricing, this is where you'll see how this fits in. This whole piece right here would be the $69.95. If you did not want the concept overview and the quizzes, that's where this piece would come together for the $39.95. But in this case, we'll just do the operations because it's kind of fun. The concept overview gives the students anywhere from 3 to 6 page overview of what they're talking about. So the front office operations on this one gives them some good reading, some learning, like what they would get into a textbook. After that, they're given a quiz, a 20-question quiz, which you have control of scoring and how these fall in order, etc. But the fun part's when you get into the actual simulations here. So they're going to be given a document that'll talk about the situation. It'll tell them what they're doing. So obviously they're running a hotel located in downtown Massachusetts. Their role is the front desk supervisor. In the learning phase, as I said, it's kind of a handheld type scenario where they are given every instructions to walk through it. And then the challenge phase, they're going to be given less steps, and they're going to have to use their knowledge from the learning phase to complete the simulation. And they're going to be giving a complete, like a revenue that they have to hit a certain piece. So maybe they have to hit 5,000 in revenue for that month. That's going to be their chore to do that. So fun part here is when we get into the learning phase, they get a tutorial to go through all of this. So they learn how to use all the different pieces in this simulation. But as you can see here, we've got steps, and you're seeing a front desk of a hotel. And the fun part here is actually seeing these people move through here. So I'm just going to read this one slide and do this real quickly to give you just a quick overview of how this works. But in this learning phase, you'll manage the front desk for a practice hotel. It's often a good idea when taking a new job to just observe for a while before making changes. In this step, you'll do just that and watch for issues at the front desk. Click the Run To button, select May 24th, and the simulation run until it automatically stops. Watch the front desk area. So this is in a lot of our simulations where they're doing this, but they might be asked to do other things first. But this one's observing. So fun part for the students. And when I first did this one, as I saw these people lining up here, and it's obviously if they're noticing anything, they're learning that it's because there's one person working. So as you go through these simulations, they're going to learn different things like staffing. Obviously, they're going to learn the, when are the high rates of people coming in? When is the date that most people come in? Is it a Monday? Is it a Tuesday? When should we staff? What are the hours that are more critical to have the staffing there? So they're going to watch this and then obviously answer the questions that have to do with it. So in this case, a large line formed. Fun part is they're asked to do some different things. So they're going to look at reports, and they're going to look at a thing that we call tweeter. Obviously, people are saying they had to wait a long time in this simulation. So they're going to learn different things such as that. They're going to ask to do certain reports. You can look at different places, daily revenue report. All the different steps are going to take them through this. And then as they go to the challenge phase, they're going to use the concepts they learned in this one and apply them to the challenge phase, and then actually run that business to hit that revenue mark. And as you see at the bottom, they're going to have like a year-to-date profit, a monthly profit, etc. So they can keep a score on this and watching it. And then of course, everything's graded right through here, and it flows over into your grade book. So it's not anything that you personally have to grade as a professor, but gives them a good idea of what they're doing through the process. So that's a really, really quick one. We'd love to do more of a full-blown demo to show you a little bit more of the intricate, how it actually works for some different pieces. But I don't know if there was any questions that we might have at this time. I'm going to go ahead and let Josh go ahead and jump in for what he had to say.
Yeah, thank you, Jodi. I've been looking at the comments here, and I see that there's some current users in there. In fact, BJ, good to see you. And it sounds like you're working with your student right now on the simulation, so that's awesome. It's the current users on there have got some positive things to say, so we're glad you're enjoying it. The one thing I wanted to bring up real quick to everyone is that starting March 1st, and this is for CHRIE associated schools, we're running a competition using the hotel simulation. And I'm going to see if I can share my screen here and just show you where you can find that information. So it's going to be on our website. Just let me hit share. I'm not good with Zoom, so you have to give me a second here.
There you go.
So it's on our website, knowledgematters.com. If you go back to the homepage here, you slide down to case simulations. You can click on the CHRIE logo, and it'll bring up information for a competition we're running. The enrollment period is open. It started this beginning of this week. The competition starts on March 1st. And it's for the eligibility is down here. It's for college level students who are students at schools that are CHRIE institutional members. So you have to be an institutional member for your students to compete through this. But basically what they're going to be doing is working on simulations. They are going to be different from the ones that we're talking about here that you might choose to use in your classes. They're not going to have all the functionality, but they're going to be working on driving revenue, driving profits for the hotel through setting room rates and trying to win group business and things like that. A lot of the stuff that you would see in the simulation. So maybe some of you have done this in the past with your students. If you haven't, we encourage you to do this now. There's no entry fee, but there is cash prizes at the end for the top three places for students. So we had some good competition last year. There's scoreboards on here, which you can take advantage of and keep track of and see how your students are doing. So if you are interested or you have students that are interested, I would encourage you to go to the website and sign up for this. It's a lot of fun, and I think your students will really enjoy it, and to give you a good insight into how the simulations work going forward. So if it's something you're thinking about using in your classes, could be a kind of a nice introduction into that and seeing how it all works for your students. So that's how what I really wanted to touch on here, just to make sure everyone is aware of that. Does anyone have any questions for Jodi or myself?
I have a question. This is Brett Mathwick from Colorado University.
Hey, Brett.
Hey, Brett.
I work with you on the full simulation. You said on the you need to be an institutional member.
Correct. Yes.
What exactly is that?
So I think it's the school has to be a full member, or the department has to be a member. Correct. Not individual membership, but yes, the school. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you have any questions or any curiosity, if you do qualify, if you go down to the eligibility here, there's this link through CHRIE where you can go find out if you are a member.
I'm just a single member.
Gotcha. Yeah. Then you would not. Your students would not be able to participate in that, unfortunately.
One thing we didn't mention either is we are starting to do, yearly annual licensing for facilities. So if you have a lot of people, a lot of professors within your university using our product, it might help speed things up as far as getting your courses set up. So that's something to discuss as well if you have a lot of interest.
I had a quick question. I think earlier, Jodi, you mentioned the different learning management systems that it integrates with. We recently switched from using Blackboard to using Brightspace. Is that an LMS that is supported?
Not currently. It's just the three that we mentioned, the Canvas, Blackboard, and Moodle.
Okay.
Yeah, we've tried, Matthew, we've tried doing it with D2L and Brightspace. We're continuing to try to do it. And it's a little bit of a headache just with their platform as far as third-party vendors becoming integrated with it. We're continuing to work on that, and hopefully we can get some integration soon with that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
If there are any other questions, definitely feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to set up personalized demo where we can go through it a little bit more and answer a lot more questions if you have any. It looks like there were some good comments on there. We appreciate the good comments that you guys have had, and we know a lot of you have used it. A lot of people do combine some of the restaurant modules into this, so keep that in mind as you go. We find that some people like to add a couple things to this, so we're willing to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to kind of a little more on that. So because the restaurant and the hotel are in the same format, we can certainly integrate into creating a course mixing between the two. And then just take a step back to talk about what Jodi mentioned about the institutional licenses. A lot of hospitality departments do have both. So they have, food management, food and beverage management, along with hotel management. And that's something where you might look to do that, to use it across a broad spectrum of classes within your department. And if it's something that does interest you or something you think you might be able to take advantage of, please let us know and we can talk you through that.
Helps you mix and match a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely on the site licensing. So.
And I saw BJ just put in the comments about Maureen. Maureen is the greatest. So if anyone has any experience with Knowledge Matters, they know Maureen Ginley. She's our operations manager. She's great for after you have your courses set up to have any questions with, especially with the integration with LMS, with the LMS platforms. And that's kind of a good bridge to tell you that we do have a great support team here. Yes. If you go to our website, we have weekday and weekend hours, both via phone and email. So even if your students have issues with the simulations, we encourage them to reach out to us directly, and we can help them out, try to get to the root of the problem. But yeah, Maureen, I honestly don't know if she sleeps. And if
I don't think she does.
Not very long, because she's always doing something and always has her hands in something. And she's a great resource to reach out to once you decide to go with us.
Yeah, she answers questions on weekends, nights, everything. So she's very good.
I wanted to say that we're using it for the second year, and it worked real well the first year, and it's more from my end on getting how to really integrate it into the class and everything. But the students enjoyed it, and they all said we should continue doing it, so we're doing it again.
Great. Yeah, we think it's a fun thing for the students, especially since everyone's so technology driven today. I always say to my people when I demo, I wish they had this when I was in college, but we didn't have those fun things. We had the expensive books. So fun for everyone.
Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate you taking the time today. Again, if there's anything you need from us or anything if you want to learn a little more, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, don't forget the CHRIE competition. If you are able to participate in that, we want you to participate. Give your students a chance at some nice cash prizes. Otherwise, I hope everyone's staying safe, staying healthy, staying warm, depending on which part of the country. And although there's probably about a third of the country that's at normal temperatures at this point, but hope everyone's staying safe and have a great weekend.
And feel free to share us with your colleagues if you know of anybody that might be interested as well.